What's up everyone, and welcome back to the Commerce Park review series. I have a mystery box here today with an up arrow and a bottom. But wait, it's not really a mystery, ain't it? Of course, modelers who buy a certain type of train do recognize this box, and this is one of those products. This is an Athearn Genesis CSX GP39-2, number 4313. A newly released locomotive of the Genesis line with Tsunami 2 sound and the LED lights, which is part of their latest offerings. Beautiful model and a must-have. We will check it out and go right into it. The engine comes in the typical royal blue Athearn Genesis box, this time with an Athearn 75th anniversary decal on the bottom right. Pretty cool. Now, you can't really judge a book by its cover, so let's pop this thing open and check inside. Well, keep getting teased here. Okay, there's the info sheet, promotional sheet, and then the operator's manual. Oh my god, this thing is really teasing us. Oh boy, there it is. In Yellow Nose 2, which is a little bit before the era that I'm typically doing, but I still had to have this engine, and those who are familiar with the South Florida railroading scene will know why. So one thing I did notice that was quite interesting is that the packaging that protects the 4313 is relatively thinner compared with previous releases. Definitely the layers of styrofoam are thinner, which is pretty good, especially on the environment. Don't know if that's the reason, or if this has been how it has been designed from the get-go. Now, of course, some of us do keep these around for long periods of time, but it still helps either way. And what's neat is that this release also has supports for the trucks to further protect the engine. And of course, the clear plastic is molded in the shape that would pretty much nest the engine nicely. Now, the engine that is nested is sitting right here. CSXT 4313 in all its glory. Now, a brief history on the 4313. Originally a Reading unit, then Delaware and Hudson, and then on to CSX. Sometime around the 1990s, I would say. Kept its paint scheme there for a little while, then got YN2. And around 2010, it did receive YN3. And I saw this engine in a number of places, including guess where and guess where. Many interesting memories with this locomotive. In both YN2 and YN3, of course, YN3 I had a better chance of documenting as I got my hands on the camera right around its repaint time. The model, of course, comes with the high level of details that you would come to expect in an Athearn Genesis, or similarly Walther's Proto, Atlas Masterline, Scale Trains Rivet Counter, etc. With the MU hoses, separately applied detail parts such as the grab iron, sunshades, train horn, and front ditch lights are on this model. And there are no rear ditch lights. We'll get to that in a second. What's also neat is that Athearn has included, I have to really zoom in for this, sanding line details. Now, I'm not sure if they've been included in other EMD models, but as this is the first one I get in Genesis, but it's really neat that it has it. So nice touch there. Other than that, you have the nice GP39-2 tooling applied here with the handrails, and they look pretty good. I believe they are plastic, as is the norm, but they held on pretty well, which holds well given that the handrails had been a known weakness of the Athearn Genesis line. One other note is that you will see on the other side, the engine, as I got it, came with the windows wide open. There are windows in there. I had to use tweezers to adjust it, but windows are hidden behind the blue plastic there. Just be careful operating it if you want to close the windows and be the type of crew that doesn't want to wave to rail fans. We'll zoom in a little more at the front snowplow here with the included McHenry coupler. You know where that's going to be going in due time. Replaced, I recommend, with a KD. Front ditch lights, which work with LEDs. Front cab headlights, and number boards, which unfortunately, since this is grandfathered into Genesis 2 and not a newly tooled model, are not expected to light up, and I don't think they do. So here's your engineer side view, and we'll get over to the fireman side real quick. And here's a look at the fireman's side, and you can see I have the windows partially closed in the cab there, and the ratchet handbrake is right there. Other than that, it's pretty much a symmetric clone of the engineer's side. And here's a look at the rear, a little bit of a wobbly handrail there. And like I said earlier, this unit does not come with rear ditch lights, and I believe that is due to the era that this locomotive likely is captured at, which my assumption is right when this received a YN2 paint scheme. So back then I don't think they were very adamant to add rear ditch lights, but eventually this engine got it. Clearly wouldn't be running locals in the Florida business unit without it, so I'm sure CSX later put it on, and you can too. So I've pretty much given a full tour of this locomotive, so what are we waiting for? Let's fire her up. Very impressive sound output. This is a Tsunami 2 decoder, and all the engines I know with speakers on that sound really loud. I kind of like it loud. There's no mistaking. And of course 8 will mute it. So once you put the engine on the layout, it automatically will sound on. The horn is the programmed K5LA. It sounds like a familiar sound. It's probably the default that Tsunami has on its sound configuration. And the engine does not have any capacitors, so if you hit a dead spot, you will know. Like I just did. So here's a look at your rear headlight. I love the brightness. The warm white LEDs do great on these models. So what I have here on what is normally the Florida East Coast Commerce Park layout is a CSX Downtown Spur Consist. This engine, the 4313, is absolutely perfect for modeling jobs that work CSX's Hialeah and downtown areas. So we're going to actually simulate some switching on the Commerce Park team track of these two railgons with two ferrous processing and trading gondolas, which has a lot of real life overlaps. For instance, the team track in real life here does handle ferrous processing and trading, but for an FEC contract, which I believe goes on to Norfolk Southern. But CSX does run over a parking lot when working Miami Iron and Metal. So there is a lot of like cross connecting there, which is pretty cool. So I want to offer you guys that. So really, just sit back, grab your favorite drink, enjoy the show. So that will pretty much do it for the run-by footage and for the review of the 4313 overall. Long story short, it is a very nice locomotive, very highly detailed. I do recommend it. But of course, if you do want to get it to the highest level of detail, you may have to make some adjustments. I, for one, would probably program the ditch lights to flash. And if you want to bring this to a higher level with lighting, feel free to add LEDs to the number boards, and of course put those pilot mounted lights on as well. But as I enhance the engine, I will probably do it over time and not right away. It is in its perfect habitat, running Voodoo and Palmetto style yard jobs. Florida Business Unit is its home, both in YN2 and YN3. So this will be a very nice addition to the roster. And hopefully you may soon see this on the downtown spur layout as well over in the DC metro area. Anyhow, I hope you have enjoyed this review, and I hope it has helped you decide whether you want to buy this engine or not. And I say definitely go for it. First time I've seen Athearn run the GP39-2 in CSX, so definitely seize that opportunity. And yeah, and if you have any questions about this engine or any comments, feel free to leave them in the comments section. And if you have enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. And of course, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel to see more model railroad and rail fanning content. I know this layout is a work in progress, so not every scene on this layout is pretty. Pretty much nothing is pretty yet. It's still like in a very rudimentary segment, but more will be coming from this layout as we go forward. Thanks again, and till next time, from the Commerce Park layout, this is TE out.